Chapter 149 Judgment of the Light of Destiny. Shen Liner, Chen Duo and Fanu became restless after seeing the Golden Panther being killed by the Dark Golden Radiance. In their original plan, they hadn't put too much hope in the first two soul beasts in this test. They were mainly there to deplete Huo Yuao and Iketu's soul power. The four soul beasts that came after that were the main ones to deal with Huo Yuao and Iketu. The lion, tiger, panther and bear were representatives of powerful soul beasts. Their cultivations and metal element were a testament to their strength. The reason why the metal element was chosen over the more explosive fire element was because Huo Yuao had the ultimate ice. This was a meticulous consideration, but they didn't expect Huo Yuao to display the Dark Golden and Terraclaw Bear's ability. 2 out of the 4 metal type soul beasts were killed just like that. Iketu also began to show his powers in this battle. His 12 soul tool cannons were aimed at the Golden Lion on the left. 12 streaks of light sealed off all escape routes for the Golden Lion under the guidance of Huo Yuao's spiritual detection. The Golden Lion could only defend, and couldn't advance any further. Iketu had 4 rings. He shouldn't be too fearful of these 4 soul beasts if he unleashed his soul tool fort, given his abilities. However, it was impossible for him to take down these 4 soul beasts himself. Huo Yuao also made his move as Iketu acted. His first action was to bend his back, and he grabbed a hold of the Golden Panther's thigh that had been cut off. After that, he threw it at the Golden Tiger, which was around 20 meters away from him, using his left hand. The Golden Tiger roared furiously and lifted its front claws. It was about to deflect the Panther's thigh away. At this point, Huo Yuao unleashed another of his divine skills. Boom! An explosive force was unleashed, and ice shavings scattered into the air. Although it was only just a Panther's thigh, it was still filled with the Golden Panther's soul power since it had only just perished. The ultimate ice initiated the ice explosion technique, and the Golden Tiger's claws seemed to strike a soul tool bomb as it hit the Panther's thigh. In addition, the tiger was completely unprepared. Its claws were blown apart amidst the reverberating boom. Its body was sent flying into the air, and the upper half of its body was covered in fresh blood. Huo Yuao had another identity. He was a Tang Sect disciple. At the same time, he chose the Tang Sect as his path after his retreat in the Sea God's Pavilion. He showed everyone how to use the Tang Sect's secret weapons. This time, his secret weapon was the Golden Panther that had been cut to pieces. The Golden Tiger that was blasted didn't even have a chance to crawl up before more of the Golden Panther's remains were turned into bombs by the ice explosion technique and flew towards it. Amidst a series of explosions, the powerful Golden Tiger was killed as Shrek Academy's elders looked on in shock. They couldn't even get close to Huo Yuao, much less make him unleash a soul skill. The weakness of such metal-type soul beasts was always in terms of long-range attacks. This was also natural given that they were physically tough. Otherwise, they would have become the most outstanding soul beasts around if they were strong in all aspects. Huo Yuao knew the might of his ice explosion technique after his experience in the Great Stardo Forest. He almost killed a Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear using a 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat's corpse. While a 1,000-year soul beast's body was inferior, the difference wasn't too great. He turned around calmly after killing the 1,000-year Golden Tiger. His left hand pressed on the bear that was already dead. The Ice Empress Pincer's diamond flashed with radiance. The Golden Bear was quickly turned into a transcendent ice bomb that could go off at any time. Iketu's attack stopped. A Class 4 milk bottle appeared in his palm, and he used it to suck in soul power. In fact, he hadn't depleted much of his soul power. He could kill the Golden Lion if he wanted to, but Huo Yuao didn't let him do so. He was following Huo Yuao's spiritual detection to fight. The Golden Lion felt relieved, but couldn't locate the Golden Tiger. It was in a daze. Huo Yuao tried to provoke him by hooking his finger toward him. The lion was the king of beasts. It had a bad temper, and its yellow mane, which was flashing with a metallic glow, started to spike up. It roared and burst towards Huo Yuao. Its legs let out clanging metal noises as they struck the ground as it opened its mouth to reveal its huge, razor-sharp teeth. Even a tidal Douluo might be unable to handle its bite. Huo Yuao was slightly breathless after killing the tiger. He revealed a soul tool against this golden lion that came towards him. It was the soul paralysis ray. The golden lion couldn't escape the ray shot out by him under the influence of his spiritual detection. As a streak of light flashed, the attack of the soul paralysis ray was counteracted by a metal-like halo released by the golden lion. However, the paralysis effect still took place. The lion's body shook a little, but it didn't collapse like the bear as it tried to hold on. However, its speed immediately dropped. Huo Yuao's eyes squinted, and a cold radiance flashed across them. He burst towards the golden lion, looking very ferocious. As he got closer to the lion, the paralysis effect began to wear off. The lion opened its mouth and attempted to bite Huo Yuao as he burst towards it. Its fur also spiked up and turned into golden spikes. They became offensive weapons. It unleashed its full abilities as the strongest among the 4 soul beasts. Its eyes flashed with a metal glow, and at least 10% of its mane shot out as sharp spikes. Huo Yuao was quickly engulfed by a huge number of metal spikes. The lion was the only one among the 4 soul beasts that still had some long-range offensive abilities. However, these metal spikes were most effective at a 5-meter range. Huo Yuao decided to face these metal spikes head-on. He didn't use a soul tool to protect himself, but the Ice Empress armor, one of the 2 soul skills the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion had given him. As his cultivation increased, the power of his soul rings also increased in tandem. The Ice Empress armor was defensively stronger than before. Ding 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 ding. A series of knocking sounds rang from Huo Yuao's body. The metal spikes were deflected away by the Ice Empress armor and couldn't penetrate his body. Huo Yuao also used this opportunity to get closer to the lion. The golden lion bit down on nothing as the ghost shadow perplexing track was used. Huo Yuao dodged its bite and came beside it. The golden lion also recognized Huo Yuao's frightening dark golden terraclaws. Its mane started to change form, and its entire head now looked like a hedgehog. The lion tried to spike its head towards Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao naturally tried to prevent that from happening. He moved his body back a little before increasing the speed of the ghost shadow perplexing track. He continued to strike his right hand towards the golden lion's head. He was not bothered about the damage that could be inflicted onto him by the metal spikes, since he had the Ice Empress armor, the Ice Empress pincer, the mysterious jade hands, and the dark golden terraclaws with him now. The lion lifted its body amidst this crisis and struck its huge claws towards Huo Yuao. At the same time, a series of clanging noises resonated from its body as 2 metal blades came out from its shoulders. One of the blades hit Huo Yuao's right hand. The greatest point about spiritual detection was its ability to anticipate situations. Huo Yuao was clearly prepared for this moment. His dark golden terraclaw clashed with the metal blade that shot out of the lion's shoulder, and he wasn't at a disadvantage in terms of strength. He only rocked his upper body back a little, and the golden lion's body also stopped moving. This was the strength of the Ice Empress pincer and the mysterious jade hands. The metal blade from the lion's shoulder couldn't suppress Huo Yuao in terms of strength. Huo Yuao had already dodged the lion as his figure flashed. His dark golden terraclaws slashed at the metal blade. His left hand unwittingly grabbed hold of the lion's left forearm due to the great impact of his slashing motion. A wave of cold instantly entered the lion's body. The lion couldn't help but shiver while its left forearm was frozen such that it no longer had any sensation there. Huo Yuao exploited the momentum of his slash to flip his body around before sliding his body below the lion's belly. His left hand flashed with an azure radiance before a boom was heard. The lion screamed in pain before its huge body was overturned. What was the significance of the ice explosion technique? It could blow apart all ice within an area that Huo Yuao could work his spiritual sense on. It didn't matter if it was a frozen corpse. The ice explosion technique could turn all matter into its energy after coming into contact with them and make them a source of explosive power. Huo Yuao had previously used his ice explosion soul skill to detonate soul beast corpses, in turn converting soul power into pure explosive force. But right now, Huo Yuao took advantage of the lion's focus on his dark golden terraclaws to activate his ice explosion soul skill on its left forearm. The most solid fortresses were often felled from the inside. When the soul power in the lion's left claw turned into explosive energy, this was exactly what happened. The ice explosion soul skill showed its might once more, blowing the lion's left claw to bits. The frightening blast also riddled half of the lion's body. body with injuries. How could Huo Yuao miss such an advantageous attack? He used the ghost shadow perplexing track to accurately appear at the place where the lion was weakest. A powerful suction force was released towards the lion from Huo Yuao. While it didn't drag the lion to him, it did increase his speed towards the lion, with no defenses to bar its way. His right claw stabbed into the lion, causing its pathetic, miserable cries to instantly stop as it died. At present, all 4 metal-type soul beasts had been killed. What remained were only 4 purple soul rings, which floated silently in the air. Huo Yuao pressed his left hand to the golden lion's body, making another bomb out of it with the ice explosion soul skill. He then ran towards the center of the arena alongside Hikato. If he included the spectre wolf that he killed earlier, Huo Yuao now had 3 ice bombs at his disposal. Gong Chenglong regretted speaking up for the 2 of them earlier. They'd killed 6 of his 1,000-year soul beasts. It had been very difficult to catch them, especially the 4 metal-type soul beasts that had come at the end. They'd taken him an entire year to train, yet it had all been for naught the moment that Huo Yuao slaughtered them. Huo Yuao wasn't anything like a normal control-type soul master. Even comparing him to agility-type soul masters wasn't quite appropriate. To be honest, he was more of a mesh between assault type and agility-type soul masters. From start to finish, Huo Yuao had killed all 6 soul beasts during the test. Hikato had only needed to help once, which had been to prevent the tiger and lion from meeting up. Huo Yuao's very impressive display had already gone far beyond the elders' expectations. Huo Yuao didn't get complacent. He'd given it his all, and had used every advantage available to him. He might have depleted a lot of his soul power when he'd used his dark golden terraclaws to kill the golden panther, but that was to ensure that he didn't give the panther any chances. If these 4 metal-type soul beasts teamed up, it would have been a large problem for Huo Yuao and Hikato. Huo Yuao had been most concerned about the golden panther, since it was the most cunning soul beast of the 4. It hadn't rushed Huo Yuao immediately, even though it held an absolute advantage in terms of speed. Instead, it had waited for an opportunity to group up with the other beasts. It was basically the general of the 4 soul beasts. After obtaining the dull golden terraclaws, Huo Yuao's offensive might soared, but he was still left with glaring weaknesses. He was weak against long-range attacks and lightning-quick opponents. As panther-type soul beasts were incredibly fast, the golden panther could have dragged Hikato over if it had used hit-and-run tactics, and thus forced Huo Yuao to fight an uphill battle against the lion and tiger together. While Huo Yuao was confident that he could take on these 2 soul beasts at the same time, it would have been far more consuming, both mentally and physically. That was why he chose the simpler approach, killing the golden panther with his dark golden terraclaws quickly, albeit at the expense of his soul power. He then used the panther's corpse to attack the tiger. While this simple method indeed dealt with them, it didn't seem cost-effective for his soul power. However, Huo Yuao might have expended even more soul power if he'd been sucked into a drawn-out fight with the soul beasts. The ice jade scorpion left arm bone and dark golden terraclaw right palm bone had shown their worth in this battle. Huo Yuao's fighting capabilities were completely new to the Deans and Fan U. He'd been more offensive than a 4-ringed assault-type soul ancestor as a 3-ringed control-type soul elder. The elders felt nothing but shock and awe after witnessing him killing the 6 soul beasts. Of course, there was an exception to that feeling. Gong Chenglong currently felt extremely gloomy right now, as he was the person in charge of the beast dueling arena. His heart ached when he thought of the fact that 6,000-year soul beasts had been wasted just like that. The amount of human and material resources needed to catch and train another 6 just like them would be astronomically high. Send in 8,000-year soul beasts adept at long-range attacks, and 4 3,000-year soul beasts adept at close combat. I don't believe that these kids will be able to handle them all. Increasing the pace of the test made Gong Chenglong's heartache, but it meant that it went faster. However, this wasn't too shocking. After all, Huo Yuao had displayed abilities far beyond their initial expectations. Huo Yuao looked a little weird now. He had 2 cigars in his mouth, one thick and one thin. They were, respectively, the spirit-stimulating thick cigar and the soul power-amplifying thin cigar. He grasped a milk bottle in his hand, as did Hikato. The 2 of them leaned on each other as they stood there. They were suddenly jolted, and Huo Yuao exclaimed, "So many." Hikato was also stunned. "They're trying to kill us." 12 soul beasts sauntered in from different directions. There was 4 huge beasts in front, and 8 others trailing behind. They inched closer and closer to them in the center of the arena. The huge pressure emitting from them made Huo Yuao and Hikato pretty terrified. Huo Yuao had seemed very relaxed as he dealt with the 4 soul beasts earlier, but that was already giving it his all. But now, their number had tripled, and from the looks of it, several of them were long-ranged attackers. 12,000-year soul beasts. If Wang Dong and Xiaoxiao were here, then Huo Yuao reckoned they might have a fighting chance. But could they really win in this situation now? Junior, what do we do? Hikato looked at the dozen 1,000-year soul beasts that surrounded them and felt numb. This was definitely beyond what they could handle. Fan Yu's brows furrowed. Why didn't Elder Gong follow the plan? This is too much. They must have been expended quite a lot of their energy already. Shen Liner said, "Don't fret. The pressure will do them good. Also, we can tell their limits from this and plan out their future training. We're ready to save the both of them if anything happens." Huo Yuao shut his eyes slightly and sensed with his active spiritual power. He didn't ask for help from the Sky Dream Ice Worm, the Ice Empress or Electrolux, even in such a perilous situation. His confidence was slowly growing as his age and powers increased, and he knew how to turn pressure into motivation. "Senior, Soul Tool Fort strategy. I will try and control the soul beasts, and you'll follow up under the guidance of my spiritual detection to attack them. We'll try our beast and see what happens." "Okay." Hikato didn't speak too much either. His confidence in Huo Yuao had grown immensely following the previous battle. Many metal pipes started to appear on his body as they made clanging noises. Hikato turned around with all the weapons on his body, maintaining a solid grip on the floor underfoot, showcasing his ability to mount a multi-directional assault. Huo Yuao noticed that it was the same Soul Tool Fort strategy, but a portion of Hikato's Soul Tool Fort had already been modified. It seemed like he had made considerable progress after the advanced Continental Soul Master Soul Dueling Tournament. The dozen soul beasts were still stalking closer. The 4 in front were of the same species, the single-horned devil rhino, a very powerful soul beast, entirely plated in armor. It was rumored to have a strong ram and sturdy defense, while its horn could unleash the sealing light. After locking onto an opponent, it would ram them till they perished. In the arena, 4 single-horned devil rhinos with more than 3,000 years of cultivation were flashing with a subtle, light blue radiance. Their eyes had turned blood red, and they advanced forward faster now, ready to attack at any moment. The 8 long-ranged attacker soul beasts behind them also began flashing with different colors, ready to attack at a moment's notice. If it wasn't for the small size of the beast dueling arena and them not having enough space, Huo Yuao and Hikato would already be facing a barrage of attacks. Hikato fully prepared his Soul Tool Fort, and Huo Yuao remained still. He spat out the 2 cigars, put his milk bottle away, and stood there with his arms placed beside his waist. His spirit eyes slowly began to close. A weird feeling started to spread from Huo Yuao. The beast dueling area's worked crew. The Deans and Fan could all sense it coming from Huo Yuao, but couldn't identify what it was. Huo Yuao seemed to become intangible in an instant. However, amidst that illusion, even he felt awed. The feeling was indescribable, like he had changed into an invisible force that covered the entire arena. He felt like he wasn't even himself anymore. At this time, a weird golden light lit up on Huo Yuao's forehead, looking like the first ray of light at dawn. Everyone squinted their eyes unwittingly, even though it wasn't blinding them. For just an instant, everyone seemed to pause. It was a golden eye. It was a golden eye, filled with the bright light of destiny. The stranger displayed the majesty of heaven and earth. Even the air was buzzing as the light from the eye shone forth. Huo Yuao's lips moved a little. Only Hikato managed to hear what he said. He had called out, "Destiny, judgment." A layer of strange light spread out, with Huo Yuao's body at the center. The light didn't seem very intense, but it couldn't really be described, because every soul beast and soul master saw the color of this light differently. The air distorted slightly as the light passed by. It felt like a huge door of destiny had been opened behind everyone. Fortunately, it didn't cover a wide area. It only engulfed the area which the 12 soul beasts were in. If this feeling only left Shenliner and Shenduo Duo in a trance, the next moment revealed the true effects of the transformation in front of their eyes. The first transformation happened to Hikato, who was the closest to Huo Yuao. He was coated with a layer of dim gold. That layer of dim gold instantly peeled off from his body and formed a weird golden light projection projection behind him. This projection looked identical to him, and was only lacking his soul tools, otherwise a perfect duplicate. A ring of golden light flashed from his double's shoulder, giving off a feeling of calm and peace. The transformation didn't just happen to Hiketu. The 12 soul beasts that were engulfed by the radiance also underwent transformations. However, their transformations were different from Hiketu's. Every soul beast started to shake uncontrollably. Following that, a pale white layer appeared on their heads before peeling off instantly. However, the form that they took after they peeled off didn't appear as balanced as Hiketu's projection. These projections took the form of the beast's bare skull, floating above their heads. Even more frightening, the eye sockets of the skulls were glowing a bloody red. What is this? Third eye? Don't tell me. Shen Liner, Chen Duo, and Fan Wu said in unison, second awakening of the body soul. They couldn't think of any other possibility except this. Their eyes opened wide as they watched the changes the soul beasts were continuing to experience. Huo Yuao's eye of destiny silently shut itself. His body shook a little, and he seemed a little dizzy. His mental fatigue was now intense. His second seed was extremely uncomfortable, sucked dry by what he had just done. However, he had finally displayed the power of the eye of destiny. He also wanted to see what kind of judgment the light of destiny could unleash through the eye. Huo Yuao's spirit eyes opened at the same time he shut his eye of destiny. The dim bulb remained, but he was much more fatigued. The soul beasts were delayed in their advance, and they could all feel a chill rising from the depths of their hearts. They didn't know what was happening, but they were clearly aware of the changes. But where were these transformations coming from? They had no idea. Huo Yuao naturally wouldn't explain it to them. The soul beasts could also feel the changes, but they were stunned that their bodies hadn't seemed to change. Everything still looked the same as ever to them. Some of the soul beasts were furious from the fear that he had inflicted them. The 4 single-horned devil rhinos roared together and started to charge towards Huo Yuao and Hiketu. The ceiling lights on their horns also shot out towards Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao's third soul ring suddenly lit up at this point. After he managed to obtain the spirit eye's third soul ring, it was his first time using it. What was his third soul skill? Huo Yuao's eyes turned white at this point, and a ring of white light spread out from his body. Undoubtedly, it was a domain type skill. The 12 soul beasts were all engulfed in its radiance. A weird scene occurred as the white light engulfed the soul beasts. Every one of them turned white, and their mighty auras from before started to become weaker and weaker. The 4 single-horned devil rhinos that were charging forward slowed down, and their bodies even started to shake. The soul beasts that were adept in long-range attacks also delayed their attacks at this moment. Senior He, use your soul tools as defensive barriers and attack the soul beasts in the back. Leave the single-horned devil rhinos to me. After he finished speaking, Huo Yuao wrenched his head down forcefully. It was as if he were trying to shake off his fatigue. His body then shot out like an arrow. The entire battle erupted at this point. Even though the soul beasts that were adept at long-range attacks had been influenced by Huo Yuao's white light, they still managed to unleash their long-range attacks at the first opportunity. Huo Yuao could still dodge, but Hiketu was struggling. This was also why Huo Yuao asked him to use the soul tools to form a defensive barrier for himself. 8 long-range soul skills were unleashed. Some of them covered an area, while some of them were fixed on a specific target. Their goal was to strike both Huo Yuao and Hiketu. However, something weird happened at this moment. Hiketu mounted his attack as he engaged his defense. He chose the closest soul beast to him. However, he was anxious at this moment. The concentrated attacks of the 8 soul beasts couldn't be resisted by his class 4 soul tool barrier. Furthermore, the spiritual detection had disappeared. He could only completely trust Huo Yuao now. Fan Wu was already holding a dark gold metal barrel in his hands on the stage. He locked onto Hiketu and was about to fire. Although a class 4 soul tool barrier couldn't resist the soul beast's attacks, it could still last for some time. That was why Fan Wu didn't rush to his aid. He was waiting for Hiketu to be completely defenseless. After all, this test was to challenge their limits. However, he was clueless as to why Huo Yuao and Hiketu didn't search for a breakout point, even though they were in a critical situation. They didn't even diversify their attacks, which might prove to be their fatal flaw. Could they still hold on against the 12 soul beasts? However, Fan Wu opened his eyes wide at this moment. The light that was about to shoot out of the dark golden barrel also dimmed instantly. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. How was this possible? How was this possible? What did he just see? Chen Duo and Shen Liner also opened their eyes wide. They were both incredulous. If they could accept Huo Yuao's impressive performance previously, whatever was going on now was beyond what they could comprehend. 3 of the 8 soul beasts using long-range attacks were using domain-type attacks. Domain-type soul skills were all engulfing. Mush Outhouse Phoenix Meteor Shower being a good example. Of course, domain-type attacks weren't completely flawless, but their flaws were almost negligible. Usually that the user couldn't fully control them. Almost targeted long-range attacks locked onto an enemy before a soul skill was unleashed towards them. This was the modus operandi of most soul masters and soul beasts. However, an unbelievable scene occurred within the soul beast dueling area. There were 8 long-range attacking soul beasts. What happened to their attacks? Their attacks struck nothing. Not even one of their attacks managed to hit Hiketu or Huo Yuao. Even Hiketu couldn't believe it. He didn't even have to use his soul tool barrier. Meanwhile, the strike from his soul tool fort managed to easily tear apart one of the soul beast's bodies. How did Huo Yuao manage to avoid all the soul beast's attacks? The battle continued to progress as everyone was shocked. Even weirder changes continued to happen. Huo Yuao's sleeping body had already reached a single-horned devil rhino as the other soul beasts attacked. He leapt up high and unleashed his dark golden terror claws. He targeted them at the single-horned devil rhino's head. The single-horned devil rhino was too defensively sound. Furthermore, Huo Yuao could tell that the single-horned devil rhinos weren't 1,000-year soul beasts. Under such circumstances, Hiketu's soul tool fort might be able to take down one single-horned devil rhino. However, the burden on him would be very great. What about the rest of the soul beasts? That's why Huo Yuao decided to make a move himself. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.